Welcome back to Tiny Track Cars. We have the 2024 G-Case race and, of course, the unboxing of these cars. Here we'll unbox this G-Case. We'll pull 2 cars at a time and race off in the qualifying rounds, and then we'll see the bracket, and those cars will race head-to-head, and we'll see which car in this G-Case is the fastest of them all. First up, we have the 2015 Dodge Charger versus the Singer 21C. I'm not really sure how to say that, but it's red and it looks like an exotic car. They're out of there. The Charger is getting big air and taking the early lead. Will he be able to hold on to it? This is a battle of a beautiful lime green car versus a red supercar. It looks like the Hot Wheels Rescue Charger will take the win and move on to the bracket. Next up, we have the Ford GT40, beautiful recolor in blue with the number 8 in the hood, and the 2019 Ford Ranger Raptor. Not the F-150 Raptor, but the Ranger Raptor. They're out of there. It looks like these two had a color. They called each other before the race and said, hey, let's wear beautiful blue and match throughout the race. And they're both Fords, but this Ford GT will win the race by a long shot here. And there you see the beautiful camo Ranger Raptor coming in second place. We got the Dragon Blaster racing against the Fiat 500e. Both blue cars. We're color coordinating. And folks, these cars are all randomly drawn in order out of the case, and lane assignments are random as well. They get put in the lane that they are drawn, in the order they're drawn. So the Dragon Blaster is out there in front. The Fiat is nowhere in sight. And it looks like the Dragon Blaster will slide his way across the finish line and move on to the bracket. Next up, we have the 71 El Camino in that beautiful purple. That was a super treasure hunt. That one was not. And then the Drift and Brake is in the opposite lane here closest to us. They're out of there over the big jump. The Drift and Brake out front, beating the El Camino. The El Camino is trailing behind, but he does hit off the wall and spins a little sideways. I don't know if he'll have enough to come back and win this one. Drift and Brake takes it and moves on to the bracket. Meanwhile, the Ford El Camino, Chevy El Camino comes trickling in. Then we have a Ford F-150 Custom versus the El Segundo Coupe. El Segundo in the close lane, Ford F-150 in the far lane. El Segundo out front after the first jump in the first turn. The Ford F-150 on his tail, pushing him, takes the inside and takes the first place. Will he be able to hold this one? That spoiler is low. The clearance we thought might have been an issue, but it is not, folks. And the Ford F-150 Custom with that awesome aero kit moves on. Next we have the Batmobile, another Batmobile. We see those way too often. Followed by the Custom Auto, or Auto. I'm gonna go Auto. Auto in the close lane, Batmobile in the far lane. They're over the big jump. They land in the first turn. The Auto is out front. Batmobile's slightly behind. Batmobile spins around and looks like he might be out of it. As long as the Custom Auto finishes, he will be moving on. Folks, we'll continue to run these cars head-to-head. Winner moving on. Again, lane choices are random. This is the 2024 G-Case race and unboxing. Next up, we got the Mod Speeder racing against the Brick and Mortar. That Brick and Mortar has a skinny front tires on it. We know it is fast, but we'll be able to beat the Mod Speeder here over the jump. Mod Speeder clips the landing and might be out of it, folks. He did not fall off the track. He is still on it, but he is back there a ways. And folks, this Brick and Mortar looks like he will take the win as he runs smoothly down the track. And nope, that's it. That's all we got. Oh, there he is. Coming down the track, and he will finish. Unfortunately, get no points. He will not move on. He is out of this one. Next up, we have the 5-Alarm, which I recently saw at the Monster Trucks Glow Party, 5-Alarm monster truck, followed by the Braille Twin Mill. Beautiful green paint job in that Braille Twin Mill. That 5-Alarm has a working ladder there, but I don't know, the little extra drag, he has the aerodynamics of a refrigerator, that might slow him down just a little bit. And the Hot Wheels Braille Twin Mill pulling ahead here. 5-Alarm closing in the gap, but not enough. And the Twin Mill will move on. Next, we have one of my case favorites here, the BMW M3 Wagon versus the Ford Performance Supervan. That Supervan looking good. That is a new model for 2024 and looks good doing it. but it looks like he might not have enough in this one as the M3 wagon takes the early lead, bouncing off that second turn. This track has 5 hairpin turns, folks, 5 straightaways, and way too many opportunities to pass on this 99mm wide track, and that BMW gets extra bonus points for blocking the competitor from crossing the finish line. That should be a thing. We have Shark Bite, which has a working mouth. We'll see if that pays off for him, versus the Mighty K. This is a strange battle of small and mighty cars. Let Shark Bait take the win. Shark Bait clips it, takes one right to the jaw on that landing ramp. The Mighty K in reverse, making his way down the track. We'll stay quiet here where we watch the Mighty K make his way slowly down the track. Yep, he's barely gonna make it, and he literally stops 4 inches past the finish line, folks. Next, we have the charcoal or black Tesla Model Y racing against the 2070 1970 Plymouth Barracuda. Barracuda high flying and out front against that electric Model Y, which should have got the whole shot, but he did not. I think the Barracuda might be a little bit heavier, and that's why he won down the hillside there and up over the jump. And the Barracuda takes the win and moves on to the bracket. The Model Y, nowhere in sight. I lied, there he is, and swerves his way around. Unfortunately, was not as successful as the BMW that pulled the block on the last round. Now we have a Dodge Dart versus the Punk Rod, which looks like some sort of Lamborghini mashup. We have exotic fantasy car versus licensed Dodge Dart. The Dodge Dart rolls over. He has a skinny wheelbase, and it looks like he was unable to handle that big air landing jump. Punk Rod coming down here, and Punk Rod, right? Is that Punk Rod? I kind of forgot what that was, but he's looking good. He's got that big spoiler on the back to keep him glued to that track. I think that might have affected his overall speed. We got the Jaguar MK1, beautiful car, versus the Honda Hot Wheels 450F. I don't think this is going to go very good for the dirt bike, but we'll see how it pays off for him. Starting on his side, the Jaguar takes off, gets huge air. That thing looks beautiful. Beautiful number 12 with those X'd out headlights, making his way down the track, smooth as can be. This guy right here might be a top competitor as he's putting in a flawless run. Again, that dirt bike is out of it. That was silly for him to be even in this. Runway Rescue, I mean, versus the Porsche 911 Carrera, which might be in the same boat as that dirt bike. He has no tires, folks, but he made it down over the jump. It looks like he crashed, and the Runway Rescue is out in front. Even though he has a higher center of gravity here, he is making it down. It looks like he is part of the Hot Wheels Rescue pack as well, and he will take the win in this race and move on to the past the qualifying to the first round. Next up, we have the 1994 Audi Avant RS2 versus the Audi RS e-tron GT. For some reason, the last 3 cases, these cars have came side by side and have been head-to-head against each other. Again, in the last 3 cases, E, F, and G, and they're battling nonetheless in this one as well. That e-tron spins around backwards. RS2, beautiful red paint job, taking the lead. That car is known to be good on the track, and it is proving that in this race. Next up, we had the 52 Chevy. Looks like that's a step side against the Rapid Pulse. Another Hot Wheels first response car. Again, these guys battle head to head. Winner will move on to the... Whoa! That's that first response. Rapid Response got some huge air as Chevy spins around. Looks like the Rapid Response will be taking the win here as long as it keeps on the track. Speaking of on the track, this track is custom 3D printed by a company called Spoolheads. They design and print custom 3D tracks. You can get them over at spoolheads.com. Moto AutoZam versus the Merc. The AutoZam has big tires, but also a high center of gravity. Will that pay off for him? He's up, he's on his side, and he tips over, giving the right of way to the Merc, which will cruise his way down the track and taking the victory, moving on to the next round. Again, spoolhead.com, custom tracks. Nissan Patrol Custom versus the Heavy Hitcher. That guy is a tow truck. These colors are beautiful here. Beautiful green paint job in those shades of blue. Hot Wheels Nissan Patrol spins around, and the Heavy Hitcher takes the lead. He spins around though, with the Nissan Patrol be able to come back and take the win, or the Heavy Hitcher, the Heavy Hitchhiker, take the win. The Heavy Hitcher takes the win. I like that car. We had the Supercharge, which looks like some sort of funny car, versus an old H1 Humvee. We have a classic fantasy car versus licensed car battle here. Who will be victorious? These cars are all made for the track, right? These all have plastic tires, but sometimes we see those big tires on those fantasy cars, big wheels. They're just so good on the track, and some of them have plastic bodies, metal bases, and they're hard to compete with. But with the licensed cars, my vote is always for the licensed cars. And speaking of licensed cars, this is one of my favorites. The white Honda Civic Si with the carbon fiber hood, racing against the Pterotractyl. Pterotractyl has proven itself in cases E and F. Will it prevail here? I want to see that Civic do well, but it looks like it's falling behind. I'm hoping Pterotractyl eats it. It is not finished, but it doesn't look like he is going to fault at all, and he will take it despite the Civic putting on a great performance. Unfortunately, he will not move on. The 1972 Stingray Corvette, I'm pretty sure if you shine a light through that, you will see the headlights light up, versus the 911 Carrera. Both in beautiful red, one a convertible, one not. My vote's on the Carrera because I am a Porsche guy, but unfortunately that Porsche goes toppling end over end, and the Chevy Stingray Corvette will take the win as he makes his way down the track here. And there he is, folks, running across the finish line in first place, and no Porsche to be found. 55 Chevy Bel Air Gasser versus a Dragon Wagon in beautiful yellow, the number 2 on the side. That, folks, is a huge wagon. And he looks like he will win it because the 55 Chevy Gasser with the higher center of gravity lands rough and literally goes flying off the track. That's, folks, is why we had those pads down there. Even though they aren't that paddy, they do offer some relief for bent axles and massive catastrophes. Volkswagen T2 pickup versus the Trouble Decker. The Trouble Decker, more like the double decker that's gonna flip over. Guaranteed this thing flips over. There's no way this higher center of gravity car stays on the track. We'll watch it here as he pulls the front end off the ground in a huge air. And folks, he is flying. That thing is heavy and big, and as long as he keeps it on the tires here, the Trouble Decker will be winning. He slides it sideways because he gets a little too far out of control, spins it around, checks where his competitor is at, and crosses the finish line in first place. Another case favorite here, the Nissan Skyline in that nice army green. That's an R30 versus the Audi 90 Quattro. The licensed car versus the licensed car, and we'd hate to see either of these cars go home because they are some of my favorites in the case. But one person has to go. It's how they're drawn out of the case, and they're head-to-head, and it looks like the Audi is winning. That Skyline is falling behind the R30. Unfortunately, we had high hopes for that, but we do love the Audi 90 and that wide body kit on that bad boy right there. Brop, brop, brop. That R30 will be going home. All right, we got round 1 action. There is your bracket. We're going to look back and see the names of these cars because I forget. There's a Dodge Charger versus a Ford GT40. Charger on the far lane, GT40 on the inside lane. GT40 is flying. That is a fast car. He's got the lower center of gravity. That is a supercar right there, folks, versus just some old cop car in the back with some lights on it. But the Dodge Charger might have been a Hellcat. You never know, but he was holding his own. But he will go home. All right, now we have the Dragon Blaster in the far lane versus the Drift and Brake. The Dragon Blaster spins around, but looks like he's resurrected, but he's still slower than the Drift and Brake. As the Drift and Brake spins around, drifting, gets a little out of control, but throws that son of a gun in reverse and heads down the track and will take the win in round 1 and move on to the semi-finals. Custom, the Custom Auto in the close lane, and the Custom Ford F-150 Lightning in the far lane. That Lightning is fast. The Auto gets the inside lane just by luck. That Ford F-150 is pushing on his back bumper, trying to get by. Will he be able to get by? He pushes from the inside. He takes the inside. He's going to pass him. No, he's not. And there he goes, folks. He does not have enough to cross the finish line ahead of the Custom Auto. The Custom Auto will move on. The F-150 is out. We have the Braille twin mill in the close lane. And what is that in the far lane? I forgot what his name is. Ah, yes, the brick and mortar. Brick and mortar, twin mill out front. Twin mill looks like he will hold off the brick and mortar. That brick and mortar displays some big old turbos in the back of that thing, which do pop off, by the way, and can be moved around the different parts of the vehicle. We'll go home. Now we have the Mighty K versus the BMW M3 wagon. The M3 wagon lands perfectly. The Mighty K, you can't not say the same for him. I don't think he will be coming down the track. That car is just a little too, balance of it is just a little bit off, a little heavy in the front. BMW wagon will move on here, folks. Now we have the Barracuda in the far lane, and the Mod Speeder. Is that a Mod Speeder? I believe that's a Mod Speeder. Does not matter because he's going mod home. Barracuda will be winning this one as long as he can keep on the track because the Mod Speeder, not sure if that is actually his name. I'll have to go back and look. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. The 70 Barracuda convertible will take the win and move on to the next round. We have the Runway Rescue and the Jaguar in the far lane, Runway Rescue in the coast lane. I said that Jaguar is going to be a top competitor, and he is not proving us wrong. He is proving us correct. And he will take the win, and as he flies down there in what might be a record time, but we don't keep time in this track because this track is always changing, different layouts from case to case. We have the first response in the close lane, the Audi RS2 in the far lane, Hot Wheels first response, rapid response, flying down the track here. Looks like he is trying to get to an emergency, folks, because he is flying, and unfortunately that Audi RS2 is out. And then Fantasy takes out another licensed car. We have the Heavy Hitcher and that Merc in the far lane, Heavy Hitcher in the close lane. Merc rolls it over. The Heavy Hitcher looks like he'll be taking this one as long as he can keep it on the track. Unless that Merc can slide all the way down the track on its hood, it looks like the Heavy Hitcher will be the winner of this here round. And moving on to the next round. Pterotractyl in the close lane, Supercharged in the far lane. Pterotractyl known to be fast, but that Supercharged is fast as well, but in a straight line. Supercharged funny cars are fast in a straight line. I've never seen them turn, and it looks like they're forced to turn by our sharp spool heads, 180-degree turns here, and a Pterotractyl will take the win and move on. With the Dragon Wagon and the Stingray Corvette. The Stingray Corvette rolls over, leaving an open track for the yellow Dragon Wagon with clearly no driver. We need to plop a driver in there for next video. Maybe a Lego guy or Peach from the Mario Kart series wants to drive that Dragon Wagon. That will be moving on. Audi 90 in the close lane. The Trouble Decker in the far lane. Trouble Decker is fast, folks. I am blown away by how fast that thing is. But look, I said it. High center of gravity. There's no way he's going to win. And folks, he did tip over just as I suspected, leaving an open track for the Audi 90 to move on. Not the Super Treasure Hunt Audi 90 though. All right, there's the next round for you. There's your matchups. Moving one step closer there. Ford GT40 in the close lane, and of course the Drift and Brake in the far lane. Drift and Brake spins around backwards, puts a block on the Ford GT40, and it looks like the Ford GT40 is on the inside. This is getting interesting. The Ford GT40 is now blocking. They're going slow, but they're battling back and forth. Ford GT40 holds him off. Into the last turn they go, and he will take the win and move on, folks. That was a lot of back and forth there, but we do have a winner. Custom Auto in the far lane. Braille Twin Mill in the close lane. Braille Twin Mill with the early lead. Custom Auto rolls over. He is out of this as long as the custom is custom. They're all customs. Someone builds these. They're all customs. No, they're not. They're stock mainlines. The Braille Twin Mill taking the win, folks. I don't know if those tires back so far help him out with the stability or not, but he's looking fast out there. Barracuda in the close lane. M3 in the far lane. M3 with massive amounts of air, sticks to landing, and he is off to the races. Barracuda can't handle the pressure, can't handle the heat, and he spins out back there, as you saw. This M3 will walk away with the victory and move on to the next round. Oh, that was a cheap shot right there. Rapid Pulse, sorry I got that wrong. The Rapid Pulse is in the close lane. Jaguar in the far lane with the X'd out headlights there. The Rapid Pulse is fast, as we know. That has a metal base on it, plastic top metal base. and he is cruising. Sorry, I mentioned that because it keeps the center of gravity low and is great for track racing, the metal bases with the plastic tops. And he is victorious. Rapid Pulse moves on. Pterodactyl versus Heavy Hitcher. They're out of there over the jump. The Pterodactyl lands it on one tire but recovers, and he's in the lead, folks. Pterodactyl walking away with this one and will be the winner of this round. And moving on. Heavy Hitcher is out, but the Heavy Hitcher might come back if we have to tow somebody across the finish line, because that's a tow truck. All right, Dragon Wagon in the far lane. Audi 90 in the close lane. Another Fantasy versus License. Oh, the Dragon Wagon is up on the curb, and it looks like he is stuck, folks, with one tire over the edge of the track. This Audi 90 will take the win, and another victory for licensed cars, as I am always rooting for them over the fantasy cars. But like I said, these fantasy cars have proven to be fast. We have a good mix-up of fantasy versus licensed here. Again, we have a fantasy versus licensed battle. Twin mill Braille, twin mill versus the Ford GT40. Side by side over the jump. Looks like the Ford GT40 has an advantage, but the twin mill cuts him off. GT40 tries to take the outside. They both spin around in reverse, and there's some contact again. Folks, this is another back and forth race. Seems like every race that Ford GT40 is in is a lot of bumping, a lot of rubbing, but rubbing is racing. There's no harm unless there's blood and there's fouls, and there's some saying like that, like a watch pot never boils. There's no blood, there's no fouls in this racing. Pterodactyl in the close lane, Rapid Pulse in the far lane. Rapid Pulse pushing the Pterodactyl down the track, but folks, is maybe just a little too close. He spins himself out after a little bit of contact. That backfired on him, and the Pterodactyl will move on to the finals, folks. These winners go to the finals. Finals will be 3 cars, and whoa, it looks like our camera is a little bit shaky here. The cameraman must have forgot to turn on the stabilization. Holy canoe, it looks like we're racing during an earthquake. We're filming in Washington State, folks. Not a lot of earthquakes up here. This isn't California. Now, BMW M3 will take the victory in reverse. I'm not even sure what's going on. I might be sick. Let me get a barf bag. That was kind of rough. Here are the finals. We have 3 cars, a twin mill, Pterodactyl, and the M3. They'll run 3 races, rotating positions, and the winner of points will move on. BMW M3 get a disadvantage here being in the back, but the Pterodactyl and the M3 push by that twin mill. M3 putting some pressure on the Pterodactyl. Will he be able to get by him and put 3 points on the board? Takes the inside lane there, but is unable to make the pass, and the Pterodactyl takes the win in race number 1 with 3 points. 2 points for the M3, 1 point for the twin mill. This right here is the twin mill's chance to put 3 points on the board. He is out front early, folks. He is running away with it, but the M3 fast and right on his tail takes the inside. The M3 makes a solid, clean pass in the twin mill, and he's off to the races here. Pterodactyl in 3rd place, but makes a pass in the last turn on the twin mill, putting up 2 points on the board. And there, folks, is a tie between the Pterodactyl and the M3. M3 on the inside, Pterodactyl on the outside. The twin mill is out of it, but he will be in this race. M3 sideways, Pterodactyl tries to make the pass. If he makes the pass, he might be victorious. The M3 holds him off, and in reverse, folks, is flying down the track, and we do not see the twin mill and the Pterodactyl. It looks like they might have got tangled up just a little bit, and they do not finish. And folks, there you have it, the 2024 G-Case winner, the BMW M3 wagon. That's the first time we've seen that body style car in a Hot Wheels case, and boy, it is beautiful. Congratulations to the BMW M3 wagon. And folks, thank you so much for watching another case race.